What's going on, everybody? It's Charlie, and welcome back to Rejected Heroes Media, and we're talking about Boba Fett, Episode 2, Tribes of Tatooine. And if you haven't seen it yet, this one's filled with spoilers, Easter eggs, and it's really going to be going back with a lot of things, a lot of homages to different things, and we'll get into that. So this is your warning. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, come back. I'm still going to be here. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so we are introduced to the Orders of the Night Wind, which are the assassins that went in to attack Boba Fett in the last episode. And 8D8 says that they won't talk because they're very highly trained professionals. And so Fennec Shand was like, well, maybe he'll talk to the Rancor. Drops him into the pit. And if you remember, it's the same thing that they did with Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. And I was like, oh man, they got a Rancor. It's empty. It's just a play of words. But the assassin's like, I'll talk. So if you're unfamiliar with the Order of the Night's Wind, they're essentially employees or weapons for hire for the Crimson Dawn, who was run by Maul, who is now dead because, remember, in Two Sons, Obi-Wan kind of finally gets rid of him. So if you remember Kira from the Solo movie, I wonder if she's going to be the one to take over. So we still have a lot of mystery behind that. Maybe they're the ones behind the assassins. But we do find out that the assassins were hired by the mayor. The mayor, Mok Shaiz, who is an Ithronian, is the one who really hired them. So Boba takes them back. And the mayor's like, hey, I didn't hire him. He's not one of mine. But he's also not allowed to do any work outside Hutt space. So thanks for bringing him in. So he kills that guy, pays him off as a tribute he was supposed to give Boba. But what he does give him as tribute is information. And speaking of Mok Shaiz, he's voiced by none other than San Antonio legend and director Robert Rodriguez. And, as a San Antonian, you can hear that accent anywhere. I was like, hey, there he is. So he tells Boba to go back to Gara's sanctuary. And so, Boba's like, okay, I'm going on a wild goose hunt. And goes back to the sanctuary, finds out the twins are back. And who are the twins? The Hutt twins. And they're cousins to Jabba the Hutt. And they're here to reclaim what is theirs, which is Jabba's palace and everything in his domain. This isn't Pride Rock, Scar. You gotta get out of here. And so, of course, unfazed, Boba stands there and he says, I'm Daimon now. Whatever you want, this isn't it. This isn't your fight. And they bring out Black Sakran, which is a Wookiee gladiator. And whoa, is this guy massive. He just looks intense. He makes Chewbacca look like a puppy. Let's put it that way. And so, other than the Wookiees we've seen in Solo and on Kashyyyk, remember a lot of Wookiees were sent into slavery after the Clone Wars, or were killed off or, sent off to gladiator pits. So this is obviously a Wookiee warrior. So, he could be about maybe older than Chewbacca, maybe about the same age. We don't know yet. But I really want more of this guy. And so, of course, unfazed, Boba Fett's like, no, we ain't gonna do this here. So the Hutts agree. Bloodshed's not the thing. They go off. So we still have more to see from them. So we go back and we see, Boba in his bacta tank kind of healing. And I wonder if he's dying from something. In Legends, I know when Boba was in the Sarlacc pit, he developed some kind of cancer. And that's what's slowly killing him. So I wonder if we're seeing that in the show. C-3PO's words of "you'll be slowly digested" could be a play on words of the acid that's inside the Sarlacc could seep into your skin, create like a form of cancer. That's what's slowly killing him. You could be slowly being digested for thousands of years. But we'll see. That's kind of something I'm speculating. I'm hinting at. We could see Boba's death. We don't know yet. We still got a couple more episodes to know. Also, we see flashbacks, which takes up predominantly the rest of the episode from his time with the Tuskens. And he's learning how to fight with one of the main leaders. And then there's this train that goes by, and it's been giving him problems. And so Boba says, you know what, I'll take care of the train. I'll stop the train. And the leader's like, you can't do it. And he's like, just watch. Give me a rifle, give me a stick. I'll go. So he goes to a Tashi bar, or like a little Tashi station. And he finds this biker gang, the same ones we saw from the last episode. So we're not really introduced to who these guys are yet. Boba walks in. They're terrorizing some patronage. They're terrorizing some patrons. A couple, who by the way is named Cammy and Fixer, who are besties of Luke Skywalker. So Boba walks in, just kind of takes them out, takes their speeder bikes back to the Tuskens, and was like, "Look, all right, you guys have been doing this for so long. Here's some new stuff. I'm gonna teach you how to ride. And it's real funny to see Boba taking this different role, more of like a father mentor role with these guys. Like, I'm gonna teach you how to do this. You know, he used to be a bounty hunter. He used to be like, fuck everybody else, I'm a bounty hunter. You know, I lost my dad, and you know, whatever. It's just been me and my dad. Now you're seeing a different side of Boba. He's I mean, obviously he's way older, so he's more mature, but it's really cool to see his progression. You know, that if you've really followed Star Wars, to see his progression into this. So they end up stopping the train, and the train ends up being spice traders. And the spice traders are, you know, from the Pike Syndicate, which, you know, if you want more of that, go watch Clone Wars. There's a lot deeper into that. So that goes into Crimson Dawn and, you know, the Pike Syndicate and how they're fighting. And, you know, if you remember Spice from Kessel, you know, Han Solo and the Kessel Run, they get the spice. And you really see where Boba starts his rise as Daimyo, and he sits there with the Tuskens, and he's like, you know, I want to know if you're carrying spice. And one of these, you know, guys from the train is like, well, what does spice look like? You know, trying to be all smart ass, and they drop a box and spice comes out. He goes, like that. It's not looking very good to you. And tells him, you are now under the protection of the Tuskens. Walk to this town and you'll be protected. And the Tuskens show up, and the leader of the leader of the Tuskens kind of accepts Boba Fett. He's like, you've done well. You did well, kid. And, you know, this really gives you more respect for the Tuskens. They're more civilized. You know, if you're watching, you know, this guy from the train is like, well, we thought you guys were uncivilized like the others. And he goes, no, we're different. And, you know, it really gives you a different aspect of the different tribes. So like I said, Boba tells him, others got through by killing, but you're different. And if you also watch the main Tusken leader, look at his shoulder pad and his left arm or his left wrist. That kind of looks like clone armor. And then he's got this like Jedi breather pack right here. So I wonder if he's somebody of significance. I mean, it's obviously not Obi-Wan, but we'll see who he is hopefully soon. But yeah, it looks like he's got clone armor underneath all that. But you really get to see after this that they accept Boba as one of theirs, and they give him Tusken clothes, and they take him. Well, they give him this guiding lizard that goes up his nose, and he goes, "I'm sorry, I think I ate it," and he's being respectful of it. And so it leads him to this tree. We'll call it the Tree of Life. And it grabs onto Boba, and he's having all these flashbacks and everything, and it's showing like, okay, you know, you were a clone, a son on Kamino of Jango Fett. You became Boba Fett. You're in the Sarlacc, but where is your next transition of life? And it's very, very symbolic of, you know, him breaking free, breaking past those barriers. So he's no longer Boba Fett, the bounty hunter. He's Boba Fett, the warrior. And when he gets his new getup, he takes his branch. They turn it into his gaffy staff, and at the end they're all sitting together, and they accept him as one of theirs, which is really cool because at the end they end the episode with Boba doing a Haka dance, which is a really good homage to Tamara Morrison's, you know, culture as a New Zealander. If you remember, that's part of their culture, that they do traditional dances like that. I'm not going to speak any more of that because, I mean, I'm Mexican Cuban, so I don't know much about that. But I think it was cool to see. Just like how, you know, also if you didn't know, the Dune Seas, which takes place, pays homage to Frank Herbert's Dune, who really influenced George Lucas for Star Wars. And if you haven't seen Dune, go watch that also, but watch the older version. That one's better. But yeah, guys, there was a lot into this. I'm really trying not to get into too many spoilers for you guys because I want you guys to enjoy it. But I do like pointing out the Easter eggs. Give me your thoughts. What are your predictions for this upcoming series? Or do you think we're going to see Han Solo? I know we saw the Falcon in one of the trailers. But I want to know your thoughts, guys. Let's talk Star Wars. Let's talk. As always, like and subscribe.